motivation for this conference started a long time ago when I saw my 7-year-old on a pitch with other friends and a kid being knocked out and parents not knowing what to do. And that's where it started for me. I thought at this age, we're not educating people. People don't know what to do. Over the last 3 years, we have gradually been trying to get this awareness together, to get the experts together, because the truth of it is we don't know a huge amount. It's really about what is best practice.
For all of us, what we want sport to be is about high performance, about excellence, about competition, about participation, and also particularly about health. What we definitely want to make sure that sport is not about is about people getting injured.
When you have half of people in contact sports each season getting this injury, an injury to their brain, the most important part of their body, it's a crisis because we do not have it under control. People are still dying short term, they're getting dementia. It's unquestionably a crisis.
All through my career, I'd had those concerns about concussion management in rugby. I was knocked out on 10 occasions in my career, so that's a lot of knockouts. I had multiple more concussions on top of that I didn't think to report because I considered them insignificant. And now, sort of, as time's gone on, I've learned more about concussion, and I realise the flaws that are still in the concussion management programme in rugby. And I think for me to come here and listen to some of the world's sort of experts, some of the leading lights in sort of an understanding concussion was good for me, and for the purpose that I'd like to go on to make an effort to improve the concussion management in rugby.
Concussion is a brain injury, so the brain is injured, and so it should be treated like any other injury. It should be treated seriously, it should be given rest, it should be managed carefully. That repeatedly injuring your brain can lead to long-term problems, just like repeatedly injuring your knee can lead to long-term problems, or repeatedly injuring your hip can lead to long-term problems. So too, repeatedly injuring the brain can lead to long-term problems. Therefore, we must treat concussion, we must treat mild brain injuries, as they're sometimes known, with due seriousness.
Education, that's the idea. Not only to educate about management, which is hopefully the message I brought today, but educate about when do we speak up? Why are we suggesting we withdraw injured athletes from an important match, an important time in the match perhaps, an important time in the playoffs? Why are we suggesting we actually pull them out of competition? The reason is hopefully we get the message across. There's real vulnerability in that window of time until they're fully recovered, regardless of the importance of the match, regardless of the age of the athlete, whether they're amateur, 25-year-old, or professional 30-year-old, or an amateur 12-year-old.
Sports leads to concussion, leads to severe traumatic injury as well. But sports could be a very positive way to rehabilitation. For education, for example, it's a very good example. For treatment, because it demonstrates that the part of the sport in the Anais rehabilitation was probably 90%. Without sport, the situation would be very, very different.
If the question is whose responsibility is it to deal with concussion, I think it has to be an independent medical assessor, because too often the medical people involved directly with teams, the medical staff of the physio and the doctors, their judgment is slightly impaired by the fact that they want their own team that they're working with on a regular basis to be successful. So if the coach wants the player to go back on the pitch, they want to assist the coach in that. So their judgment in terms of whether the player is ready or not to go back on the pitch in any sport, it needs to be taken out of their hands, and it should be an independent medical person at higher levels of the game who makes the decision for the coach and the player and the referee.
It was a first in Ireland to have a major conference in relation to concussion, and I'm absolutely thrilled about that. Concussion has probably been the one great topic that I've keen interest in sports medicine over my time in sports medicine. So to have a seminar like this, to me, is a real first. It's an absolutely fantastic start for us. I think hopefully we'll go from strength to strength from today.
The conference here today, it's really focused on medical people, and that's good. But that medical people has to, educate your coaches, the coaching staff, and especially the players. Young people, I think, needs to be taught about the dangers of concussion and everything involves in it.
I was approached by ABI 2 years ago to come on board, and I suppose it was an issue that was kind of close to my heart, as I've been concussed a few times, and I've kind of seen it happen. So I was glad to get on board now, and I suppose I've learned so much just from being involved in the campaign, and I think it's an issue which is becoming a lot more prevalent in GAA at the moment. We had some brilliant speakers here today, and I think it was Chris Nowinski and brought over a lot of knowledge, and particularly is just the simple fact of what exactly is a brain injury and what is a concussion, because a lot of people didn't know. A lot of people didn't know they were getting concussions, even though they were maybe seeing stars or seeing spots, and didn't realise that is a concussion and should be treated as such. So I think that there was a lot of great messages today from a lot of people who know their stuff out there. So no, it was a brilliant day, and I think a lot of people got a lot of things out of it.